All right, hello. Welcome to the Mindfulness Talk. I'm going to wait just a minute to get Zoom and everything else started. Okay, 1 second. Hmm. All right, hello everyone. Welcome to tonight's Mindfulness Talk, Thursday, July 2nd. A couple days before 4th of July. Oh, hi, Brandon. We'll go ahead and just wait for just another minute for a couple more people to sign on. We'll see if anyone does. Great. If not, no worries. It is 2 days before 4th of July. And summer has officially more or less began. But all right, so I'm just gonna start because I don't want to be super late. I want to get this done and everyone enjoying their evening. Hello, welcome everyone. We're gonna thank you for joining tonight's mindfulness talk on the cost of living in autopilot. I'm gonna go ahead and just jump right on in, but I want us all to just ground for a minute really quick. So, with that being said, let's just close our eyes for a moment and just take a deep breath in through the nose and a nice long exhale. And just letting go of everything that got us prior to this moment. Okay, beautiful. Well, hopefully, yes, Instagram works. So, again, just closing our eyes and take one deep breath in through the nose and just give yourself a long exhale just for a moment. Noticing how your energy is in this moment. Are you calm, relaxed, maybe a little restless or nervous? Just allowing everything that is present to be just as it is. I'm going to invite you in this moment to just sense in to that felt sense of your feet touching the ground or your legs touching the chair, the back. Just coming into stillness for a moment. Beautiful. And when the time feels right, maybe let's take one more collective, just simple, deep breath, whatever feels right for you in your experience. Letting go of all roles, responsibilities, worrying and planning, and just giving ourselves the gift of presence tonight. And with that being said, let's go ahead when the time feels right to open your eyes and gently come back to the screen. Hello, thank you for joining. If anyone would love to share, maybe just write in the chat box and how you're feeling. today, if you're feeling calm, busy, restless, I've had a very busy day. So for me, right now in this moment, I'm feeling grounded. But up until about an hour ago, I was definitely running around like crazy today. So if anyone else would like to just type in the chat box on how they're feeling today, I would love to hear from you. And we hear from Sandra, busy, very tired. I understand that. Thank you for sharing. And then John says, feeling nervous and restless. Okay, beautiful. And just letting everything be welcome here. Feeling anxious. I love that everyone just has the awareness to name the restlessness, the anxious, the stress. It's beautiful awareness. And now just allowing it to be just as it is. So let's jump right in. Okay. So again, tonight's talk, the cost of living on autopilot. Waking up to the life that we're already living. Okay. So this is something I feel every human being experiences. Right? Autopilot. Those moments when we are here physically. Hello, Gil. So good to see you. Your second day of no complaints, 30-day challenge. I love that, Guilherme. Oh, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. But okay, so again, coming back to that. So again, we all experience autopilot, right? It's a very common human experience, I feel. And again, it's those moments where we're here physically, right? But we're not really here. Okay, so we're moving through the day, checking things off, driving, working, caring for people. Hello. And just doing all of those things that need to be done. Adulting, responsibilities, right? So, let me fix this camera a little so I can see all of you a little better. Okay. So, again, we're driving, doing all these things to do on our to-do list, our responsibilities. But somewhere along the way, we realize that we're not fully present. And this happens to me a lot. And this is why I'm doing a talk on it. Because I'm creating awareness of my own moments of autopilot, right? So maybe you've driven somewhere and realized that you barely remember the drive. Okay, come on. How many of you have been there? Or maybe you've been in a conversation with someone and noticed that your mind was already somewhere else. Maybe you reached the end of the day and was just like, where did the day go? Right? So maybe we've gone through seasons of our life where we were functioning, showing up, doing the right things, taking care of responsibilities, but somewhere inside we weren't fully with ourselves. Okay? And that is autopilot. And I want to begin gently by saying that autopilot doesn't mean there's anything wrong with us. It's not a personal failure. It's not because you're lazy or broken or just doing life wrong. Autopilot is something that the nervous system learns. It's one of the ways we survive. So when life feels overwhelming, when emotions feel too big, when there's just too much to process, the mind and body often finds ways to keep us moving. So we disconnect a little, we numb a little, we rush, stay busy, overthink, we replay the past, and we keep going. We're going to hear some fireworks probably tonight, so sorry. All right, and in some of seasons of our life, it may have been necessary. There are times when autopilot seriously helps us get through. But when autopilot becomes the way we live, then there's the cost. I'm glad that resonates, Brandon. So the cost is that we start missing our own life. And not because life is not happening. Oh, it's happening. But because we are not fully here for it. We miss the breath. We miss the body. We miss the beauty around us. We also miss that quiet voice within us. And we miss what we actually feel or need. Okay. So essentially we're missing life that we are already living, while our mind is somewhere else trying to manage, trying to predict, control, or protect. And this is where mindfulness becomes very important. Because mindfulness, it's not about becoming this perfect, calm, Zen person. It's not. It's not about having no thoughts. And it's definitely not about being spiritual enough to never get triggered or never get distracted. Okay. Mindfulness essentially is the moment we wake up. It's the moment we notice, I'm not here. I left the moment and I'm living in my thoughts instead of my life. Okay, and then instead of judging ourselves, we gently return. We turn back to the breath. We turn back to our body. We return to our senses. And we return to what's actually happening now. So I'm going to give you just a little personal experience as to kind of why I decided to do this talk. I'm going through a lot of huge transitions in life right now. And this week I had a lot of stress come up. And I found that I was so worried about what my mind was creating that was going to happen, like the worst outcome of what was going to happen. So then I'm stressing and I'm doing and I'm trying to figure out all these things and I'm predicting the future. And then because of this week, how difficult it was, I had to keep coming back to my body and just coming back to regulating my nervous system. So every time I noticed that I was just off on this tangent of predicting the worst outcome or whatever was going to happen in this transition that I'm going through, I would feel in my body of just how tight I was feeling and the urgency. So once I noticed that I had left the moment, that's when I would go take a nap or just rest, meditate even for 5 minutes, get my nails done, go just do a manicure, pedicure, and rest. So again, these are little ways of coming home back to ourselves, right? So just like I said, we leave the moment, we're not here, we're stuck in our thoughts, our worries, our responsibilities, our stress, our predictions, and then we leave the present moment because we're in our mind, right? So we're living inside of thoughts rather than inside of your own life, if that makes sense. So then, again, instead of judging ourselves for leaving the moment, we return to our breath, we return to our body, maybe a 5-minute, close your eyes, reset, a nap, manicure, pedicure, whatever you can do to just ground and regulate your nervous system. Okay? And I call this in my own work coming home to yourself, because it's what it feels like. We're not becoming something new, figuring something out. And it's not fixing yourself either. Okay, we're not forcing ourselves to be better. We're just returning again and again and again. And I say that a lot in my talks because no matter what the subject is, there's tons of different ones that we've spoken about in my talks. But again, it's coming back to the present moment. Raise your hand or give me a thumbs up if you're with me so far. Because exactly, Guilherme, we are not broken. No, this is our nervous system. This is what survival looks like. And so many of us, our nervous system, that's what it's prone to. That's what it does. A lot of us have learned that. Right? To keep doing. To keep going. But it's not because we're broken. But see, you understand. Okay, beautiful. Another thumbs up here. Perfect. On Instagram, if it makes sense, give me a thumbs up. So, again, we are returning to the place within us that can notice, that can feel, that can listen, and the part of us within that can be present with what's going on. So many of us, Guilherme, and this is what I'm going to try to say a little, is many of us learned very early in life how to leave ourselves. Hello, thank you for joining. So as young adults, children, maybe we learn to disconnect from our feelings because they were too much. Maybe we learn to stay busy because stillness felt unsafe. Maybe we learn to people please, which I've done a talk on this one before, because belonging felt conditional. Also, maybe we learn to overthink because it gave us a sense of control. And that sense of control helped us feel safe. And another huge one is maybe we learn to abandon our own needs because someone else's emotions always came first. Thank you for joining, Kevin. Okay, so these are some of the reasons why we learned how to leave ourselves as children, as young adults. Okay, so autopilot, it's not always obvious. Sometimes autopilot looks like productivity. That was always a big one for me. Sometimes it looks like just being fine. Sometimes it looks like constantly helping others. Or a huge one, scrolling, numbing, planning, fixing, analyzing. Essentially trying to stay one step ahead of ourselves, which is control. Okay, it's productivity. That's a huge one. It was always for me. So underneath it all, there's often a quiet disconnection. A distance from the present moment, a disconnection from the body, a disconnection from our own inner knowing. So Carl Jung spoke often about the unconscious parts of us directing our lives until we bring those parts of ourselves into awareness. And, in my own healing, it's been huge. Night and day difference of how much awareness of my patterns, of things that were keeping me in these, whether it was protecting, autopilot, productivity, right? So, and that's why it's so important for me to teach this. Let me make sure I'm not talking too much. So, just remember, autopilot is unconscious. Sarah. Okay, so autopilot, again, it's unconscious. We do not usually choose it. We wake up inside of it. We suddenly notice, I'm reacting again. Or I'm spiraling again. Those looping thoughts. I'm being productive, too productive again. Rushing, right? So many different ways. And the moment we notice, that's sacred. That noticing is so sacred. Because again, the moment something becomes conscious, we are no longer completely controlled by it. So awareness creates space. And in that space, choice begins. And just bringing presence and compassion to whatever's here. So, for example, yesterday I had a really tough day. I couldn't talk to anybody. I could barely work. I did everything I had to do, essentially. But I was just having one of those days where I was so heavy. Life felt so heavy. And all I can do in that space is just give myself compassion and grace. and allow the heaviness to be here without trying to push it away or be busy enough to get it away or numb. I let myself feel the heaviness and I allowed it to be there. Right? So giving this grace and compassion to ourselves when we find we're looping, we're stuck in autopilot, we're having a heavy moment, whatever it is that's here. Oh, say hello, hello. Thank you for joining. Okay, so again, once we're aware, awareness creates space. And in that space, choice begins. Does it happen overnight? No. But it starts the shift. Okay. So we're not fighting the experience. Oh, Tiago. Oh, hello. So we stop fighting our experience. We're not shaming ourselves either for having the experience. But we're meeting ourselves with honesty and kindness. This is the medicine. Because many of us, you guys, try to wake ourselves up by criticizing ourselves. My son was doing this the other day. Why am I like this? I should be better. I need to stop overthinking. I need to calm down. I need to stop stressing. But shame does not bring us home. And shame usually sends us further away from ourselves. What brings us home is compassionate awareness. That gentle inner voice saying, oh, I see what's happening. I've been stuck in thought or predicting or whatever it is, urgency, productivity, rushing. I noticed. The moment I noticed, I'm here again. I return again. And this is why mindfulness is so simple, but also so profound. Okay? It doesn't ask us to solve our whole life in one moment. Yes, Starlight, so true. Okay, so again, mindfulness doesn't ask us to solve our whole life in one moment. It asks us to return to this one. This breath, this body, this sound, or this sensation again and again and again. And this moment of being is being alive. Okay? Because trying to arrive at the next moment, the next answer, the next achievement, the next version of ourselves, because life is not waiting for us somewhere in the future. Life is happening here. And when we constantly trying to go get to the next thing, we miss the only place life can actually be lived. In the present moment. In the now. What does Ram Dass say? Be here now. Right? So this This doesn't mean we don't plan, we don't have goals, we don't stop caring about the future. Thank you for joining. Hello. It means we begin to notice when our relationship to the future is pulling us out of life. Okay, so there's a difference between planning and disappearing. Okay, there's a difference between being responsible and living in survival mode. Okay, and then there's a huge difference too between thinking and being trapped in a thought. Okay, so mindfulness helps us see the difference. Okay, so again, what are the steps? We recognize. We notice the signs. Maybe autopilot shows up with shallow breathing, tension in the jaw. For me, it's in the neck. Oh, maybe it's tightness in the chest, restlessness, scrolling, rushing, feeling disconnected from the body. And just not remembering parts of the day. Feeling like life is happening, but we're not fully inside it. And then what do? We pause. Not dramatically, not perfectly. Just one small pause, a breath, maybe a hand on the heart, or just feeling the feet touching the ground. Just grounding. And when you do those things, you are letting the body know, I'm here. This is now. We don't need to run from the moment. And then we can listen. Because underneath autopilot, there's often something asking for care. Maybe it's exhaustion. Maybe it's grief, fear, loneliness. For me, yesterday, it was overwhelm. Beautiful, Guilherme. You have a kid's game on your phone that calms you and brings you back from wherever. Okay, beautiful. I love that. Yeah, whatever it is, just different tools. So instead of pushing these parts of ourselves away that feels restless, fear, loneliness, whatever it is, we begin to relate with them differently. Let me put charger here. All right, so we might ask ourselves, what have I been carrying? What have I not wanted to feel? And what has kept me away from myself? And what would it be like to come back gently? Okay, then we offer ourselves this care, this compassion. But again, the practice is not to stay present perfectly. Life is going to pull on us. Every return matters. Every conscious breath matters. Yes, as well, Starlight is getting stuck in blaming yourself for those things. And that again is that resistance, right? That's us fighting with ourselves. And that's our protector. And our protector loves to criticize. So even when those voices come, I see you. I see you're trying to blame me. I understand you're just trying to care for me. Right? Because when even those parts that wants to blame or judge or criticize us, they just want to be seen. So if you can just say, I hear you, that voice, I hear the blame or even the shame. Thank you for caring. That voice will lighten if you just acknowledge it and bring compassion towards it as well. Right? So again, every moment of awareness interrupts the old pattern. And then every time you notice yourself rushing, grounding, feeling your feet on the ground, taking a deep breath, essentially coming home to yourself. Okay. All right. So we're going to move into meditation. What time is it? Oh, yeah. So I would invite you to take a nice, comfortable sitting position. I'm going to guide you through like a 10-minute meditation, maybe a little bit less. But let's bring this talk into our bodies. So I invite you in this moment to just take a deep breath. And just sense into the body, again, touching the seat or the feet touching the ground. Allowing your eyes to close if that feels safe. Or to just gently soften your gaze. Letting yourself just fully arrive. Now in this moment, I'm going to invite you to gently bring to mind an area of your life where you may have been living in autopilot. Not the biggest thing, not the most painful thing either, but just bring to mind something simple but honest where you've been living in autopilot. Maybe it's a place where you've been rushing, numbing, avoiding, or scrolling. And just let the situation gently come into awareness by bringing the arc of the story into your field. Then in this space, I invite you to just gently recognize what's here. Maybe that's just by naming whatever it is, where you caught yourself in autopilot. Rushing is here, overthinking is here, whatever's present for you. Remember, there's no judging, it's just recognizing. Now, once you name something that's alive for you where you have felt stuck in autopilot, now the invitation is, can you allow it to be there? This experience, not because you want it to or you like it, but you can, the invitation is to maybe just say to that part of you, this is here, it belongs, you belong. I can let this be here for now, whatever feels right in your experience. And as you tell this part of yourself that you belong, I see you, you can be here, notice if there's any other part of you that wants to push it away or fix it or analyze it. And just for this moment, see if you can soften around that part as well by allowing it to be here. Allowing does not mean giving up. It just means we stop fighting reality. Long enough so we can meet what's here. Now we're going to go just a little deeper. So as you bring to mind this autopilot, whether you've been scrolling, numbing, productive, or just disconnecting from yourself in some way, after you named it, you allowed it. Now I'm going to invite you, when you think of this part of yourself, this autopilot, this pattern, can you feel it in the body? So maybe you feel a tightness in the jaw, maybe the throat or the belly. I feel it in my neck. Or maybe you feel the numbness or distance, where you don't feel anything at all. That counts too. But the invitation is to find one place in the body where this experience is most noticeable. And as you bring your awareness to any sensation in the body, I invite you to get curious. Is there a color, a texture? Is it dense, warm, tight, cold? What does it feel like? For me, it almost feels like this rough knot in my neck. It feels red. It feels like a rope, a knot of tight rope. What does your sensation feel like? Now, in this space, I invite you to ask this sensation, what are you trying to protect me from? And let the sensation talk to you. The body likes to speak to us in words, images, memories, sometimes simple symbols. If you notice you're getting in your head, drop back into the sensation and again ask the sensation itself, what are you trying to protect me from? And whatever comes up for you, allowing that to be. And then asking this part of yourself, what do you need in order to feel safe? Even just a little. Remember, we're not here to force an answer. Let the body speak to you. All is welcome. Sometimes beneath this autopilot is fear. Sometimes it's grief. Sometimes it's exhaustion. Sometimes it's the need to feel safe. Whatever is here, see if you can meet it with kindness, with tenderness. And now I'm going to invite you to just place a hand on the sensation itself, or maybe place a hand on your heart or your belly, somewhere comforting. And just let your body feel the warmth of your hand for a moment. And giving these parts of ourselves some kind words, like, I see you, I'm here, you're not alone, you're safe. Or whatever words feel right in your experience. letting the words move through your body. Not as something you need to believe perfectly either. It's just something to receive. Giving ourselves this kindness. And if it feels difficult, maybe think of someone that feels easy to give kindness to. Maybe to an animal, a puppy, an elder. But just sense into that care as much as you can in the body. And now I invite you to just let that all fall to the background and bring your awareness to the legs touching the seat, the feet on the ground, or back to your breath. Letting yourself just be held by this moment. Notice that the autopilot may still be here. The mind may still wander. The body may still hold tension. And yet, awareness is here. Presence is here. You are here. So when the time feels right, to take a deep breath in through the nose and a long exhale. And then just slowly open your eyes when the time feels right. All right. I hope that resonated with you all. And of course, if anyone wants to go any deeper with me, we can always do some online sessions, in-person sessions, just to, go a little deeper and really reprogram this nervous system. Feel free to definitely reach out with any questions. You're so welcome, Sandy. So good to see you, love. And I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful 4th of July weekend. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for joining as well. You too. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend. Guillermo, you're so welcome as well. Thank you for joining. And yes, have a wonderful 4th of July, everybody. Stay safe. And I will, oh, hi. We just finished, but I hope to see you next time. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, everybody. Goodbye. Thank you, thank you. Oh, so now you want to share as a reel.